Hello, hello, hello. Let's do a film review. No one's going to watch this, so it doesn't matter, does it? Promising Young Woman. I was looking forward to seeing it. It was released last year, 2020, starring Kerry Mulligan and Bo Burnham and Clancy Brown, the Kurgan from Highlander. There can be only one. Directed and written by Emerald Fennell, who did that. She was involved with, was it Killing Eve and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I read the reviews. This is Oscar nominated and BAFTA winning, and again, it's billed as a black comedy thriller. Yeah, and so I was kind of thinking, okay, this could be interesting. And I saw the trailer, and the trailer looked cool. And then I watched it, and it goes up there with the likes of Black Swan. And if anybody, if regulars, if the old faithful know, I'm not a big fan of Black Swan, and that's Darren. Is it Darren Aronofsky? And I like his films normally. So yeah, I thought we'd check this out, and I didn't get it. I didn't like it very much. It's supposed to be like a revenger film. Bad thing happens. Protagonist seeks revenge against the antagonist. It's as simple as that. But they've subverted our expectations. Oh no! Oh golly gosh! Didn't they learn anything from Rian Johnson and The Last Jedi? Expectations are subverted. Initially, you think that she's getting revenge on all these sexist pigs. Remember, all men are bastards. All men are rapists. Remember that. As Cassie Thomas, the 30-year-old lead character in this, who lives at home with her parents, goes out quite a lot every night, maybe, because she keeps a little diary with all the ticks marked off of who she's got and everything. And she pretends to be drunk. She gets picked up, and then when they make a move on her in her drunken state, she goes, I'm not drunk, boy. And then they go, oh God, I'm a nice guy. That's the theme, the bad guys are the nice guys. And that's it, really. And you go, okay, so where is this going? It's not told in a linear fashion. Well, it is told in a linear fashion, but there's big chunks of the story omitted to create mystery, to make you go, what is going on? They do that. They do that in movies now, and I think it's to the actual detriment to the story, and it's in the case of this one. For the reason Cassie is doing this is her friend Nina, who, again, we know she's not around. And you go, oh, she's... That comes up about halfway into the film, because her friend Nina is supposedly attacked, raped by a frat house. I don't know. Again, you don't see what goes on. You don't see what happens. It's only talked about. And you have to wonder if Cassie is a reliable witness or not. And I have problems with films like that. So her friend's attacked. It affects her. They both drop out of medical college, and a friend kills herself, and this causes Cassie to go on her spree of putting the world right. And she was working in a coffee shop because she didn't carry on with her studies, even though her parents say, well, why don't you do something? You're a promising young woman. And she dedicates herself to this. And then one day she meets an old friend, colleague from the school, played by Bo Burnham, who immediately he's introduced. It should have been called Predictable Young Woman, because I knew that he was there at the incident and he would be, And so I was like, oh, here we go. I could see where it was going. And of course, he knows the person, the instigator of the crime, and that's her way in. It's a very... I hate to use the word woke, because woke is such a boring word, but it's one of those movies where it's, it wants to be seen on the right side of the topic. Nothing wrong with that. We have a black trans character as the manager of the coffee shop. No problem with that. But, you do think, are they ticking off a checklist of we need this, we need that, we need that? No gay characters, though, as far as I can tell, unless Cassie was actually in love with Nina. They were a couple, and that's why she's going on this vendetta, because I don't know. Her motivations are a little bit odd, especially when she has a meeting with the mother, who says, "Leave it alone. We're done. We're over it." Oh, did I tell you? Spoilers. But then you'd expect that because I'm discussing the film. It's a strange film. I found it a film that has so much promise, but is let down by a number of the plot points and a number of you have to suspend your disbelief, your willful suspension of disbelief. Like her, going to a lawyer played by Alfred Molina, who's seen the error of his ways and is having some sort of mental crisis, mental breakdown, and she forgives him after he says, what I did was wrong. And you go, okay, you're a lawyer, you're a defence lawyer, it's what you're paid to do. And then she goes outside and there's a guy out there who's probably going to be sent in to whack him. One of the female friends or acquaintances at college is subjected to a rather dubious attack where Cassie gets her drunk at dinner, and then she pays a guy to take her to a hotel room. The guy says, "Do you really want me to do this?" Now, he ain't tucking her into bed when he says that. But when her friend comes to her and says, "What happened? What happened in that room?" She goes, "Oh, nothing happened." And again, ambiguity. There's a lot of ambiguity running through this. Again, maybe Nina wanted to go to the frat party. Maybe she wanted to have fun because, again, her friend, who she meets up with after the period of time, says, "You guys were always out enjoying yourself, getting, blind drunk and that." There was a lot of that went on. That was the culture of the school. And again, I'm not saying it's right that women should be victim to this, but we all have a personal responsibility to ourselves. If I get blind drunk and walk through town, there's a good chance I could get robbed or my head stamped on, because you put yourself in a vulnerable state. We don't live in a world of unicorns and rainbows, and that's what you tell your sons and daughters. But in this world, everyone's innocent except those damn rapist men. Cut their balls off. It's writ large. This story. But I find it, even though it's supposed to be like a feminist film, I find it quite misogynist because Cassie Thomas' character kind of feeds into that neurotic female trope. She wasn't the one who was attacked, as far as we know. She was just a friend of the victim. Like I say, her motivation seems very skewed. If, I don't know, she'd have been there, or if we'd have seen her with her friend, or the attack, again, you don't have to show the attack in full. You could see just flash frames of a memory, just to underline just what it was like. All we hear in the big reveal scene where Bo Burnham is revealed to have been present at the party is played by in audio form via like a mobile phone. This is the video footage of it, and it's like okay, that's convenient, rather than the footage being shared around at the time, which it would have been, and it would have come into her into a sphere of influence. That is, again, there are plot points in this that I don't think adds up, makes sense. And the final part, the final end game of it, where Cassie exacts her revenge. Boy, I find that bit the hardest. It's a suicide mission, and you know that. But then she's banking on it because she plots to leave messages and incriminating evidence in case she never returns. And it's like, really, it's one of those movies where things happen that aren't really not believable. Now, if this had been played as a bit more of a comedy, as a black comedy, I think it would have got away with it. But I think the strokes of it, are a bit too light, because I didn't see it, the dark parts, as that comedic. You have Christopher Mintz-Plasse, McLovin from Superbad in it as one of the suitors who gets her when she's drunk, and he's in it obviously. You know why he's in it, because of that role in Superbad. But again, it's not. I don't find those scenes funny. I guess it's funny if you're a woman. I don't know. It's not set up enough that it is, outright funny, because it's played straight. You know? I'm not saying she should be doing pratfalls and there should be wah, 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 those kind of sound effects, but again, maybe I'm just old man who's watched too many films. Or they could have done it the other way and gone more along the lines of Death Wish and made it really, gritty and, but again, I think it feeds into the whole cancel culture thing we have at the moment. Is I'm going to destroy you, because everything has been stored. I'm going to remember everything you've ever done, and I'm going to use it against you. And that's problematic because cultures change. What's acceptable a decade ago might not be acceptable in a decade's time. The people now who think they're right thinking could quickly find themselves on the wrong side. This is why life is full of nuance. It's not black and white. It's a series of grey shades of misery, and I don't think this film it presents it as, like I say, there are no redeeming men in this, possibly the father, but all the men in this are can be seen as not very nice, and there's only, was it maybe her and the Madison McPhee character, the only female characters. The other female characters are seen as like ineffective. Again, I don't see it as a very feminist movie. I don't think the main character is particularly strong. She comes across as neurotic and deranged and borderline psychopathic. I think it was always in her character. I came away from it going, what was the lesson? I think the lesson is, don't approach women, don't have anything to do with them because they're all nuts. If you want to date women, just don't bother men. Just go gay instead. Just go gay. I think that was the message from the film. Because I'd be buggered if I could figure out what the message was. Oh no, all men are rapists. That was what the message was. Okay, and you're better off going to watch I Spit on Your Grave or something like that. There you go. I like a good revenge. I want to see real revenge, Too much ambiguity. The victim is invisible. This is the sad part of it. It is really it should really be the victim's story. And the victim, you don't see her. I think you see like pictures of her in childhood, but you don't see her. You have no sense of who she is. She's invisible, and that's whose story it is. And it lessens the story of rape and things like and assaults like that. It lessens. I mean, even if they hadn't killed her off, even if she was alive, but I don't know, in the funny farm, I think that would be much more effective. And Cassie is kind of exacting her revenge via the hospital visits. There are many other ways it could have been done and made it a bit more interesting, a bit more compelling, and the motivations could have been a bit more sensible. I found it a bit too fantastical. If it had been a true black comedy, I think I would have liked it more. But it plays to the tropes, and that's boring. It's stereotypes. Let's be stereotypical, Let's have the sassy black trans woman. I hear your sister. Now, got to be careful with trans because people think if you say things like that you're anti-trans. I'm not. I don't care. I think she's a very attractive lady. But, you do sometimes think that they're just merely stereotypes to be trotted out. Okay? And that's it. And I think there's a lot of stereotypes in this. And that's the problem. Even the men. I'm a nice guy. I wouldn't do this. Two-dimensional. Everything is just two-dimensional. And again, the guy at the end, Al Monroe, when she turns up as the stripper and offers to bump uglies with him, he says, "No, I'm getting married." He has a moral. He's the only one in it who has a moral centre. He says, "No, I'm getting married," and she said, "Well, you don't have to do anything. We can just pretend for your friends to put on a show." And he goes, "Okay." Does that sound like someone who would, be a rapist? And that's when you wonder, did it really happen? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe maybe I've been looking at it the wrong way. Maybe we've all been looking at it the wrong way. And did it really happen? Was it actually a case of someone changing their mind? I don't know. It's a strange film, and I don't think it's as good as people are saying it is. I think it had the potential to be a really hard-hitting movie. If certain things in it hadn't happened and other ideas had been developed. But I feel like I got short-sold, and I like the movies. You know that. So yeah, very strange one. Very strange one. Do I recommend it? Yeah, I do, because it does show what's symptomatic in media at the moment. And it will be held up in 10 years' time. It will be forgotten, and it will be held up as that's what films were like back in the 2020s. And it's a shame, because it is a serious subject, and I think that TV show, was it I Might Destroy You, did similar themes and did it much better. Much better. And that's it. I think that's probably, if I hadn't, I don't know, maybe because I watched that. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for listening to me gibber on. Oh, Darren, why'd you review it if you didn't like it? I just wanted to talk about it. I watched it. I thought it was going to be a good film. Really like Carey Mulligan. Think she's, a great actress. She's good in it. She is good. Her performance is good. But I don't buy it. That's the problem. I don't buy all of it. But anyway, if you have an issue with this review, please leave a comment in the box below and I'll delete it. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, do check it out. It's on, was it Sky, Now TV at the moment in the UK. It's probably in your areas too. But do give it a watch, and maybe it'll do. Again, might be down to age. Maybe if you're a younger viewer, you might get it better than I did, because I'm an old man. I'm a rotten old man who sees stereotypes and the trope of the neurotic woman as a little bit beyond the pale when it comes to storytelling in this day and age. So that's it. Thanks for watching. There's only one more thing I have to say, and that is ta-da.